Hello and welcome to Bhante's Brunch Dharma. For those of you who do not know Bhante is a Theravada Thai forest monk. Bhante was born in Malaysia, in Kedah, and have lived in England for about 40 years. And now Bhante is back in Malaysia teaching Dharma. Bhante usually gives a Dharma talk before having Bhante's meal around this time, halfway between breakfast and lunch, so we call it brunch, a brunch meal. Today I'm going to talk about what we know about the world. That's the first thing we have to understand and come to know. The first thing is that we live in this world. We want to know about our experiences in this world, how our experiences in this world come about, how reliable. And from there, then we can try to find out where can we find happiness, where can we find peace, and if anything, how can we reduce our suffering? Now, to start off, we all know that we come to experience the world through our five senses, We have a sixth sense as well. The five senses are through our five doors of experience. That is, we can see things through our eyes. You see the world through our eyes. We can smell things. We can touch things. We can taste things. We can hear things. So those are our experiences. We come into contact with the world through those sense doors. Without which, we cannot understand a particular experience. If we are blind, we cannot see. We do not know what colors. Some of us are not blind, but some of us are colorblind, so we do not know what colors are. We cannot experience colors. There is nothing that can substitute for your experience, because our experience is very rich in every aspect, and each person experiences things differently. So the first thing to know is that we experience things through our doors, through contact, right? Through contact with things, through contact with objects in the world. Now, this experience is something we have internally, within the mind, right? Or within the heart. Now, the contact comes with our eye seeing an object, and then somehow or other we see colors, we see shapes, right? So the seeing, although it seems outside, it is actually within our mind. Now you think that it's a bit difficult to think how our mind can do that, but it is a very common experience when you come to think that at night when we go to sleep, right, we can be in a world experiencing things have very intense feeling while sleeping, and not knowing that we are sleeping, but actually believing that we are in a world. So that's how powerful our mind is. That's the first thing to know. And when you see things, if you know a little bit about optics and science, there are only two little images, that impinge on the retina at the back of the eye. Two small images, that's all. Just like camera images. And those images are upside down, laterally inverted. From those two little images, we got this three-dimensional world. Right? Now, two things must exist. Things that's inside, things that's outside in the world. And this experience of this scene. So what actually happens is that the mind created something inside our mind and then projected outside in the world. Now, if you are wearing glasses, and then if you take off your glasses, then you find that everything is fuzzy, right? That's because your eyes not working properly. And the third thing is, sometimes if you wear the wrong pair of glasses, you find that you cannot judge the distance correctly, right? So there is something that's outside there, and there's something that's created within us, that's projected into this three-dimensional world. Now when they mesh, then you don't have any problems. The first thing you want to know is that the things that we see are projected from the mind. And what actually happens is that our mind creates all these little, what I call mental identities, before we project it. When we see something, we do not know what it is. Why? We ask what it is. What does it do? Then we notice its colors. Maybe we can find out its textures. Then we create an identity of it. And then as soon as we see another object, which is similar to it, we can identify it. We know it because we have built an internal identity of it. That's all. All the information we get of a particular object is through our five senses. We hear what it is, we feel what it is. Sometimes we figure with the other six senses. We think about it, we figure what it is. Right? Now when we create this identity, what usually happens is that we create feelings that's associated with it. Whether it's something we like, something we do not like, or something more intense. Or sometimes, usually, when it's something neutral, we don't bother about it. So when you come to see this thing, when you come to see that the world is a combination of something that's out there and something that's created in the mind, then you want to pay attention to the things that are created in the mind. Usually when we come to know about a person, we start building up a mental identity of a person. what this person is like. You see, what does he do for a living? How does he behave? And so on, and how we feel about the person. And the problem with this mental identity is that once we create them, it becomes static. It doesn't change. Things in the world change. Our mental identity which we create do not change. We can update it, but they don't change by itself because it's something created. Just a memory, yeah, with images, with feelings associated with it. So sometimes when we haven't seen a friend for maybe 20 years, and we find it difficult, we don't recognize who the person is. You see, we know what our friend looks like according to our identity. And when we see them, we are shocked that they have changed so much. They do not match our identity. Then slowly we start updating our identity. We recognize the voice. The voice hasn't changed. But the person's image changed. Now that we know that we create identities of people, we also know that we can create good identities or bad identities. Identities where there is a goodwill towards the person, or identity with aversion to the person, or hate. We not only create identities of people, we also create identities of ourselves. We see ourselves according to the identity that we have. The problems with working with identities is that once we create an identity which we like, or an identity which we don't like, we seldom change that. We continue on that trend. Somebody we don't like, we keep adding on things we don't like. We keep finding faults with them. For somebody we like, we keep adding things that we like. We dismiss the things we don't like. So we are prejudiced. We are biased to others and even to ourselves. So that's why you can find that, you can either build a good picture of yourself or a bad picture of yourself, of your own self. And that tendency remains, right? Those are the obstacles. Those are the tendencies within us. Now, if we know that we build our own identities, then we have a choice. We can change our own identity. Right? We can disbelieve the identity we have created. We can say, well, the identity that we build of ourselves and others, well, we're not sure. We are very biased. Right? Think of the times, the amount of time we spend on building identities of people we hate, building identities of people we don't like, building identities of people we are attached to, building identities of ourselves, good or bad. So all that effort is invested in building this identity. So the first thing to understand is that when we see things, what we say, we know things, we don't really know. We create what we know. We don't really know. We can only know through our five senses. And the information we get is just basic sound of a person's voice. Image, just the image of the person's voice. Whether we like them, it's our own conditioning. Right? And we add things to that due to our own conditioning. We don't like a particular voice. We don't like a particular figure. See? So the identity we create is prejudice, is conditioned. So what can we do about it? But the first thing to know, when you know that you create identity, you do not want to believe too much in it, right? You do not want to be too attached to your identity. You do not want to be too adverse to the identity. Whether that mental identity is of somebody else or yourself. Right? Tell yourself, that's not sure. That is bias. Okay? So this is the thing for you to reflect. Today, a few days, and find out for yourself, whether what Bhante says is true. Don't just believe it. You have to investigate. If you believe it today, tomorrow you may not believe it. But if you really put your mind towards investigating it, then all that investigating process will give you confidence in what you come to know. Right? The first thing is to understand that everything that we created are identical. They are neither good nor bad. They are conditioned. Okay? Now that you have listened to Dharma, you have gained some merit, then you want to transfer that merit to your departed relatives. In transferring the merit, you get bonus merit. You don't lose any merit, you get bonus merit. And now I'm going to chant Anumodana, transference of merit, and then you can think about transfer the merits to support your departed relatives, and then gain bonus merit. Yatha varivaha purapare purente sagaram eva mevaito dinam petnanam upakapati ichitam patitam tumham kipam iva samijatu sabe purentu sangapa chando manaraso yatha manijoti raso yatha Sapitiyo vivajantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavan vantarayo sukhidiga yuko bhava apivatanasili sanicam buddha pacayino cattaro dhamma vadanti ayuvano sukhang Palang bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddha nupavena satha soti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhamma nupavena satha soti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanu bhavena satha soti bhavantu te.